welcome back to my page channel. Thank you for joining me once again. And I'll start by saying that I don't own these music beats. Obviously, this is the Chilled Cow on YouTube. If you like them, it's the lo-fi hip-hop radio station. I just want to put that out there because I haven't gotten in trouble yet. But today we're going to talk about ancestry, ancestral research, and some crystals that you can use to help you kind of accomplish that. So, did my screen just go blurry? No, I'm good. So I've been looking into my ancestry for years, and I've heard a lot of stories from my own family. However, being able to put that information in names and faces and concrete evidence is really important to me personally, as someone who practices ancestor reverence, and I think it's important to know where your people come from. Aside from that, it's also really great if you want to help address and heal some generational trauma or issues that pass down through your line. It helps you kind of see where these things developed. So today we'll be talking about, really briefly, aquamarine, rose quartz, and fluorite. And then the reading that we pulled, or we did, was for Priscilla Bluestone and Mookaite Jasper, which really signifies leaning into yourself and your intuition and your ancestors, right? The dreams are all about ancestral wisdom. So the first place to kind of start when you're doing this work is with yourself. So I think rose quartz is a great one to help bring up self-love and really just feel compassionate and like joyous with yourself, because sometimes, especially when you're a person of color looking into your ancestry, you can come across some dark things, and it's good that you kind of feel full within yourself before you do that work. And additionally, something I've been having on me for a while is smoky quartz, right, to help you transmute any negativity that may come up. But generally, for me, I found that it's been a really positive thing to see where my people come from. So rose quartz for that self-love, and aquamarine for hope. When you're looking for this information, sometimes it can be tricky to find, whether it's because you are descendants of people who have been enslaved and therefore the records aren't necessarily there, or really just trying to navigate the internet. So hope and courage to kind of keep you going, and focus. Fluorite is great for focus. You can come across, and you will come across, a lot of information. A lot of it will be relevant to you, and a lot of it won't be. And this, I think, when you get your fluorite in the intention and the frame of mind to keep you focused on your goal, it'll help you kind of decipher through the issues and the things that come up that you don't need. We're actually gonna see real quick if we can. Boom. Are we clear? Yeah, just a little bit. So fluorite, aquamarine, and rose quartz are great to kind of breed a air of focus, clarity, hope, and positivity. And the affirmation that I actually pulled for today, and the one that I think would be good if you guys are doing any work to start, is: it is safe for me to look within. Each time I look deeper into myself, I will find incredibly beautiful treasures. Because when we look into our ancestry, we are most definitely looking within, because those are the people that we come from, right? So those are some crystals to start. The message from Priscilla Bluestone was to follow your inner compass, and realize that your ancestors, and the stone comes from the land of the ancestors. I believe Priscilla comes from Walsh, so you know, it's a little, but the energy of it is healing energy, right? And it infuses a core stability in you that will allow you to continue to do this work. And the dream time in the Mookaite Jasper is obviously to pay attention to what messages come through in your dreams. When you start intentionally doing the work of wanting to uncover your past, you will get the messages, and those often do come through your dreams. If you dream journal a little bit, what you remember from your dreams, if you write it down, it will help you to continue to remember more and more and more. I've had crazy dreams all week, and I'm gonna do some tarot pulls to kind of help me interpret what it is that I'm getting. But paying attention to your dreams is a big one. Now, obviously, if you have an ancestral altar, that's a good place to go and to ask that they give you more information. But in the mundane kind of human right here world, start with your parents, right? Those are the people who should hopefully know their parents, and if you're lucky, know your grandparents, right? I know my dad's mother and my dad's father. I don't personally know my mother's mother, even though I'm named after her, and that was at 444, or her dad, right? So getting getting that information obviously will help me in my search. And you want to get surnames, because that's usually what you're going to be looking for. For instance, Holmes is my mother's like maiden name, but before it was Holmes, it was McBride. So that's something important, and that's something to search into. I find that sometimes women don't have their history recorded nearly as often as men do, right? We know that. So searching for your paternal line could be a good place to start, because you might find more information and helps you get from it will help you from getting discouraged, because that can happen and you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. But you find really cool information. For instance, I come from people who founded Shankleville, Texas, which is one of the first free towns for blacks, and they have the McBride College, and that's like really cool information. Now, I've hit a stumbling block when it comes to getting some of the more information on that, and like there's books written about the McBrides, but a lot of it is protected, which means that you can only read it at one location in person. So I'm trying to figure out how to get around that, but you'll find good information, and that information will help you. So you want to get a piece of paper, obviously, so you can write this down. You're going to get a lot of different information, and it can be overwhelming, so you want to be able to record who's who. And as far as like doing research, you want to be looking into census records. If you're a person of color, you potentially want, if you know like where what state your ancestors come from in the United States, right, you may want to look into some of the larger plantations and look at their ledgers. Unfortunately, the enslaved were viewed as property, right? So if someone were to have sold something, that's going to be written down and recorded somewhere, and that's where a lot of information can come from as well. Death records, census records, slave ledgers, titles, transfers, deeds. These are like the paperwork that the government obviously, I guess, wants to keep track of. And as far as places you can go to get this information, I've personally been really lucky. My cousin is a genealogist, and he loves to talk about our family history, so he gives me a lot of good tips. But Ancestry.com is where I can see his family tree that he's rooted out, which is my family tree as well. And if you get a trowel there, hold on just a second, I think someone's gonna have it. So I say Ancestry.com because it allows you to search people who are alive, and not just like dead, because sometimes that can help you link to who their actual parents are and cousins and things. But I've had a membership with Ancestry.com. It is worth it. However, if you get the free trial and push through, you can get a lot of information and save those documents to your device during your free trial. So if you can get a free trial, recommend that. Another great resource that is actually free is FamilySearch.org. It is run by the Latter-day Saints, and I believe they say somewhere on the website that they think it's sorry, that sounds kind of rude, right? It is part of their duty to record human history and the genealogy of others, so this information is prevalent and there for you. So that's a good thing. So you want to go through and you want to search up your history there if you can. They allow you to search deceased relatives. I don't personally type in, while you may get information, I don't type in my live relatives into that forum, just because I don't want to speak that kind of thing into existence. But they have a lot of really good information there, and you're allowed to build your family tree and get that stuff for free. And that's where I've really found a lot of like my documents and census records. But those are places that you're going to want to look, and the kind of things that you're going to want to look into. Now, in no way is this video meant to be like all encompassing. This is just kind of like a starting point to help you get started on looking in your ancestry. Now, when you're looking at names and things, you want to be willing to look at different variations of spellings. For instance, I was looking up one of my grandparents, and they had her listed as Octamise. Her name is Artemis. Now, because I know her name is Artemis, I can see where that connection is, and I can see where they just got it wrong, right? And back in the day, either your people had to be able to read and write, which a lot of Black people were, so don't discount that. However, or you had someone who was coming by your government just writing down on the census, and it's all kind of sloppy. So you need to be able to take your time, blow up those things, and look into what you can find. But those are my tips for getting you started on your ancestry. It's good work. Like I mentioned, sometimes when you're doing this as a person of color, you can find information that can be disheartening. However, I believe that when you push through, and that's not just like when you push through, right? I think that was one of the messages that was coming from the Priscelli Bluestone, is that you want to get this information and understand and process it, but you want to somewhat detach from like the sadness that you may feel when you are coming across some of the things that our ancestors have gone through. I think instead we can transmute that and turn it into resilience and see how far that we can go during the now and today, because that's really important as well, to use the past to feel the present and to heal the things that have come up in our family lines in the past, so we can heal ourselves and heal the generations that are going to be coming forward and through us. So I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday, and I've given you some good information on starting your ancestry research and some crystals that you can use to help you. Also, I'm trying to think, what is that crystal that you can use to call experiences that you need to you? It could be I think it's Numenite, or it's the Astrophyllite. I'll look into that and I'll try and post. But even affirming that I call all the information that is needed and relevant to me, I call that to me, right? If you make a statement somewhat, that really resonates with you around that, you can call things to you from the universe. Last night I was finding some information about like Ohio, and I was like, even though they have my last name and I know these are the people, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right? But despite my dreams, what I had in my dreams, and even when I woke up this morning, someone I follow was posting about how random, right? Ohio is going through some kind of racism or something, but that Ohio was a place where escaped enslaved people were able to go and be a free place, right? So there's some animosity and tension among the borders that still exist to today, and that kind of helped affirm for me that no, I was on the right path even when I had found Ohio. So pay attention to your intuition, trust yourself, rely on your family that's here in the present if you can to get the names, go to your altars if you have one, and do the work, do the research, because it's definitely worth it. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday.